So guys, before we start the tutorial, I would like to show you that at the end of what you will learn. So guys, this is the record. Let me delete first it. I will show you that how you can do insert, update and delete using Node, Express, MongoDB in the backend, and in the front end we will be using Angular. So now let's start adding here. For example, I'm just going to add this record, and then I will select any one of the image. So this is along with the image. I'm selecting this image, and now if I try to add this, then you can see the record has been successfully added. Now if I want to change here, say, and just change anything. Now select another image. Say this time I'm selecting this image. Now you can see the image has been changed as well as the name has been changed. If I want to delete, then I can also delete them. So this way you can do add, update and delete successfully. So step by step I will show you that how you can do all these things. Hello friends, welcome to Tutorial Days, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can create a REST API using Express, Mongoose, and we will be using Multer for image upload, and of course this course. So Node.js, Express, MongoDB, using all these stacks we will be creating MEAN Stack complete. So in the front end we will be using Angular, and in the back end we will be using this REST API, Node, Express and MongoDB. So guys, this is directory structure which we will be creating, and then after that we will be creating one by one this folder. So let's do one thing. In my computer I'm going to create here this, actually the Angular one, so we will work on this later, but first let me work on, is there in a folder Node.js, node, yes, this is Node.js. So in this one I will create one REST API, say CRUD API. CRUD API. Inside this we will be creating these folders. Under the project this will be upload folder where images will be uploaded. Let me close all these unnecessary things. For uploading the image, the next one will be what? Models. Of course we will be creating models. Why? Because our schema file will be inside the models. Next will be under this and routes, of course, REST API routes. For that we will create a separate folder, and then after this app.js, that will hold all the data. Okay, let's open this inside here. It will be easier to create files in folder, right? So already we have done this. Now .env file also, this will contain configuration file like database connection and all that. Next will be package.json. So npm install, once we do, it will come automatically. So right, and this user.js, let's create this one also. Inside here, inside model, we will create user.js, but what we will write I will show you later. That's it. Next, yeah, this one also, routing, where the actual JS file we will be writing. Next one is app.js, which will be outside here. So guys, all files we have created. Next, let's initialize here, so that because node modules it requires, no, that's why. Let's close it. Where we need to do this, here. Let's open CMD. Then npm init, so that package.json npm not working. Why? Actually there is some path configuration problem in my this laptop, that's why it has sometimes problem. Okay, so I need to go e drive, what happens, e colon then cd, yes, now npm init. Now it asks you the package name, so already we have actually app.js, so we'll say app, version skip, description skip, entry point app.js, already it has, then skip, that's it. Okay, yeah, so package.json has been successfully created here. Our next task will be to install all the dependencies. So let's install all this npm init. So how it will work actually, Express for routing, Mongoose for database, Multer for image uploading, .env to fetch the data or fetch the information, this information for fetching, and then CORS for cross-platform usage. Next, by the time this is everything has been downloaded, downloaded here. So inside the .env file we will give here port number, and so let's go to here, and then inside .env we won't have that much. This is port number, and MongoDB URL is here, and database name will be userdb not, let's name it some different, Angular Node CRUD, because we will use this letter in in Angular, Next.js, and React.js, Vue.js, and all other CRUD operation. Okay, right, so it's done now. Next will be, this is actually, okay, let me explain here. This is MongoDB URL, and this one is database name. Okay, this will be automatically created there, we don't have to do anything, and this one is port number. Okay, we could have written there only, but no problem, let's write here. Now this is model means schema, where you need to specify the file names, that means field name, not file name here. First what you have to do, you have to import here mongoose package. Okay, and after this user schema, that means user defined, you can give whatever name you want here, and then new mongoose.schema. Now first name, last name, email, password, and image, and the field name we are providing the required, it will be required string, and then timestamp true, means it will take timestamp automatically. Now you can see what we are doing, we are passing here user schema, means whole thing will be passed here, and this is actually key value, this is key, and this is value, key value. So we are putting the data inside here, and from this name we will be using, so we are exporting as this name. Okay, now this is the syntax, mongoose.model to create model, and finally we will export so that it can be accessed into another file also. Okay, so hope you don't have any problem in understanding this. Basically in this model we define the database schema, the field name. Okay, so that's the purpose. Next, now let's go here. The next one will be routing, means endpoint. To create the endpoint we have to write all these things, but before that, okay, no problem, just copy and paste. So I will explain once again all these things. Routes, user route. Okay, let me explain you here what is happening. We are importing Express.js is used for This is actually the framework of Node.js through which we can easily create REST API endpoints. Now this is for router, means we are using here router below. This is router, you can see. That's why we need to call this one. And model that we have just created before, this one model, we are importing here a user. If you remember, I had told you there was user, so we are importing here. Now Multer, this one is for uploading the image and this one is for path. Now what we are doing here, let's explain this. Storage means where it will be stored. Multer, this storage, then request and file, it will be file, and then here cb null uploads means where the file will be uploaded. Next, file name, it will get the file name, the request file cb, and unique name means from here it will actually attach the date, today's date, and then it will take file name, so that if you upload the same name image second time, then it won't override. So overall, now for understanding purpose, you just know that this one is for creating directory and this section is for getting the file name. That's it. And finally we are initializing here, means we are creating this one, a Multer storage. That means this one we are calling here and we are creating an instance, and finally it will be known as upload. Now next, this one is posting. That means we will be posting from Angular or any front-end application. So first name, series post router.post. When the user when a user will post the data, that what will happen, upload single image will upload, and request response. From here we are doing this structuring, request.body. It will contain all the data from form, first name, last name, email, and now we are doing this structuring, means we are assigning this individual value, first name, last name, email on that. And for file name, request.file means we are taking image name, and finally from this model that we had created model, we are passing here the model, and we are finally saving it. After saving, it will show that successfully the user has been created. That's it. If there is any error, then it will be showing. Now the get point for whatever data will be inserted, it will fetch here find user.find, and finally rest.json response means all the data will show in JSON format. If there is another error, then this will the error. So currently for adding and displaying only, later we will add here getting single value and deleting, updating. So 3 endpoints more we will be adding later, but for the timing, let's see up to this point only. Now the next task will be to add the data here. So here, this is the whole story. Once again, I will explain that how this works. Now let's go to here and paste it. Now let me explain once again, guys. Now you just imagine, if I write whole the code one by one showing, then it would definitely take much time, and if you see, I have a lot of video to upload, and the main point is that you should understand that how things is working. Okay, but I will recommend not to copy paste like this, because okay, so regularly I do all these things, I know this thing, so I copy paste, that is fine, but you will try to write line by line so that it will set into your mind. Okay, so you remember this point. Now let me explain you. Once again, we are calling here Express. Once again, we are calling here Mongo for database. This is course for, as I told you, since this API will be used in other front-end application like Angular, like React. Okay, so internally we are giving permission that okay, the outside the front-end application it can be accessed. .env, why? Because the data will be fetched from this, so that is why we need here .env. And routers, we were just discussing about, we are calling here router. Once again, we need a path, and .env.config means whatever data is inside the env file, it will content.env.config. And finally we are creating an object of this express. App.course means we are giving permission here, and then app.use express join. Now we are combining this with this JSON, means the data send and receive will be in JSON format. Now app.use uploads this directory name, static join dir name uploads, means this is the whole path. Now here app.use API users, this is the actual endpoint of our use routes. Okay, so how we will access API/users, then whole complete data it will come. Now this is for MongoDB database connection. What we are doing here, process.env mongo URL, means we have written here na MongoDB URL in this one. Let me show you this URL. We are talking about MongoDB this URL. Okay, so we are calling here MongoDB URL, and then use new URL parser true, and then use unified technology true. So now then this is actually a promise na, so here we then, so console.log MongoDB connected successfully, and app.returns plotted and embed the port number 5000 port number we have written here .env, so that port number, and that's it. The story is end. So there is no much in this. Now the time is to check, and for that we need to open what here. Okay, so now let's open here postman. Inside postman we will be sending the data. We will test actually, then later we will use Angular and other front-end framework. Okay, so but before that let's run. We have to run this na. So we will have to write here node and then app.js. If there is an error, then it will show, or else it will show that okay, successfully. Yeah, it is saying that everything is perfect now. Okay, so MongoDB it says connected, server running on port number 5000. Let's go to here, this is my MongoDB, and then let's connect here, and then what is our database name, guys? We start. By the way, what was our database name? What we have given? Database name we had given here na, Node CRUD. So so let's check here Node CRUD, but we have to first connect here, then localhost is doing. Yes, database is successfully created. You can see here we didn't do anything. Na? Successfully database has been created, and now if you see inside this users table has been created, and all the fields schema has been also generated here, right? So our this section is complete now and successfully is working. Now the time is to test here from browser. Okay, let's go to here. Now let's open here localhost and then API na, API users. Now you might be wondering that where did I get this URL? Oh, it's not 45,000, then it's 5,000 na? Yes, it's working perfectly. There is no data na, that's why, and it's mentioned here, not here in app.js. You can see na, this is the API URL. When you hit this URL, it goes to where? User routes. It finds here that what to find, get. That means this section is running there, this section. Okay, and when we will be posting it, this section will be running, right? So now we will be posting here the same URL. We have to add here. Let's remove this. Where is this? Yeah, this one. Then not this. Yeah, and post. Put here post. Now in what we will have to do, we have to body and then this form data. Actually, I was testing this for Flask, but the field name is same, no? That's why all the field is for already filled here. You can see in Flask. So this is our Node Express MongoDB. So this should also work. The field name is same. So what we are doing, first name, last name, email, and this is image file type. So now let's try what happens. Yeah, it says the data has been created successfully. Wow. Now if you really want to check whether the data created or not, so what we can do, just here click or go back and then click here. So guys, data has been successfully added, first name, last name, image, and not only that, it says that image has been also created, but one thing we need to verify whether the image has been uploaded or not. Yes, perfect. The image has been also successfully uploaded. Now once again, what we will do, let's create another one. This time I will say Karim and Khan. Karim, this name will be different. Let's take another image this time. Delete, upload from computer. So let's take our beloved Kalamji. Now send. Yeah, so this one also is created. If you want to check really it came or not, refresh it. You can see guys, both the data has been successfully created. Not only that, both the image has been also uploaded. So guys, as you can see how easy it is. So that means what? Your 2 points are already working. This one is for posting the data, means you have just posted from the form. Later we will use Angular. Okay. Now, so what happens actually, this request.body contains all this data, means what? This is request.body actually, this one, excluding image. Request.body data and image is separate. So if you compare here, then this is the request body, first name, last name, and this one is for input type file. And finally we are preparing here the model and we are saving it, right? And this one is for getting its, there is not much, so it is more of like select star from users, that is. And finally we are sending back to here as JSON format. The next task will be to create for a single user, and means we will display here a single user, and finally we will work on update as well. To get single value, there is not much difference, just we need to pass the ID. So what we are doing, the main difference is it doesn't have any ID, that's why it is fetching all the data, and this one has ID, so it will check that which ID we are asking for. So based on that ID, user dot find by ID request dot params. So let me show you what does it mean. Let's go to here and then just pass here the ID, single ID. This is the ID, na? So slash one ID, so it will show only one data. What happened? Okay, we need to restart the server, guys, that's why. Whenever you make changes, then you have to restart, or else node mode you will have to use, then automatic it will be starting. So now you can see there is only one data displaying, right? So it's working perfectly. This one also. So what happens actually, when ID you pass, it takes from the URL, and then based on that it checks into this model that which ID needs to be displayed, and after that it gets the data here, and finally it sends back to you as JSON format. And finally one more, and that is update. Let me show you that one also. Alright, so this one is for updating. This is actually mixture of add here. This is combination of this add and single, this one. Okay, this combination of these two. Why? Let me explain you. What happens actually, first we will pass the ID, which ID you want to update, means which record, or else it will get updated all points, na? So you need to show here that which point, which means ID record you want to update. After that image will be uploaded just like before. I have already explained that it will take all the data, it will take image, and finally is doing here updated data. Next time means it will get the update data, new data. Okay,
and then finally if image user dot image, okay, if image update data dot image, then it will take into image, means if we are uploading image then fine, or else it will skip. Next, finally it will find the id, which id needs to be updated, and the id passing we here, and updated data, that means it will take whole data from here. New true means it will get updated. It's saying if not update user, then return status 404, it will show error, or else it will say that okay, update is successful. Let me explain you once again. This data, this one is for what? This one is you are sending from postman. This image you are sending from postman, you are preparing here that what needs to be updated, okay, and finally that one is passed here. It will find the id, which id needs to be updated, and the requested parameter id taking id here, and this is the data, and finally this is the syntax for updating. It says, it checks that if it is fine, then if update user is not found, in that case it will say there is something wrong, or else it will get updated. Now the time is to test. Let's restart the server, and then let's test it from postman. So what we need to do, everything will be same, just we need to change here to put, and just we need to pass any one of the IDs. For example, let's pass this ID, okay, here in the URL. Why? Because you check the code, we are saying that okay, URL will be passing in here, and the data will be coming from here. The main thing will be as it is, means this will be as it is. You need to pass here, and you need to change here to put. Remember, this is very important. Okay, now try to update. It's Kareem, and let's write something different. Okay, let's take a different image. So delete it, because we have told that one image it will upload. That's why. This time let's take this image, or blue one, is corona yaar. Now let's send. It says successfully has been updated. To verify whether it's got really updated or not, let's come here, refresh it out, and then check. Can you find somewhere Meena? Yeah, Meena Gupta and all that. So guys, you can see it's very easy in Node Express MongoDB to create REST API and upload image as well. Here one a project, say ng new flask. So I'm giving the name something like this. Now let's create the project. Do you want to create journless? No, for the time being we are not going to create journless. CSS, SSR currently we are not going to use. In the meantime, we will open this project into VS Code. So this is our previous project. What I'll do, I'll add here in the workspace. Add to workspace. This is our newly created project. Alright, so we will be, whatever we will be doing, we will do here. src, then app. After this, what we will do, let's create two folders. One folder we will create, that is called models. we will create here models, and then another one services. The model file will create, we will be just defining the rule like all the fields name. In the services, this will act as a bridge from API. Means first we will fetch the data from API and we will keep inside service, and all the components will fetch or send the data via this service. So that is the idea. After this, we will create a few components also. So let's start creating the component, and let me close this one. It's not required for the time being because we are going to create our own. So cd, now this cd ng flask, all right, and npm start or ng-sar, whatever you write, this will be the same thing. Now our project will start. Let's close all the previous one. Okay, we are going to work in this one, so that I will show you the step that how I have done all these things. So this is model and this is service. Okay, and we will be creating few folders. Folders means component, like add component, update component, and list component. So let's create here, but before that, let's see if it's installed or not. It's our previous one and this is the new one. Now you can see it's successfully installed. Now we will step by step start creating. So the first thing what we will do, let's take CDN file here because we will be using Bootstrap. Okay, just copy it and go to our index.html, which is here, and inside the head we will put here. Since it's localhost, so this integrity cause problem, so we can skip this, delete this integrity. Similarly, so this is our folder structure. You can see this is model, then this is services, and create for creation, and this one is for showing list, and this one is for updating. So similarly, we will be creating like this. This is a project structure. So inside model, let's copy and paste this. Let's create here inside model. Okay, we will fill the data later here. Yeah, you can see what actually we have. If you check here, we have email, first name, last name, email, and last name. So according to that, we will have to fill the data here. So inside our model, this will be the field. ID is optional. Why? Because while creating, while inserting the data, you won't have ID initially, na? That's why. At the time of editing, ID will come, that is fine. But at the time of insert, we won't have ID. So that's why we have kept here this optional. But rest of the things are first name, last name, email, password, and image. All are defined here inside the model, and our model name is user. That's it. Its work is finished now. The next task will be to create here our services. This is finished. Now service. So if you go here and check the next step, services, inside this we will be creating here user service. Inside service normally what we do, we write the functions so that, and we call all the API. So we will do the same thing here. So inside the user service, we will have basically these things. What we have? Alright, so under models, it's in our case, the name is models. Injectable, that means what? this will be available in all other components, this injectable. That's why we have written here provided in root, means it will be available for all components. Now this is user service. Remember, here we need to write @injectable. That means whenever you write @injectable, that means what? This is service class, not a normal class. Now next thing is we have to write our API URL. So our API URL is this. So how do we know? If you go here, you can check. This is your API URL, this one. So the same API based URL writing, and HTTP client, this one is required to send and receive the data from the server. And now we will be creating all the functions to fetch the data. This one is, this get users is for fetching all the records. This one is for inserting the data, and this one is to fetch single record, and this one is for updating, and finally this one is for deleting. So we have all the functions ready here. In this one you can see what we have. This observable, then see model name, blank array, and then return. What it will return? This to HTTP get and model and API URL. Means from here it will fetch the data and return. This function will return actually the data. So that is the thing. Our service class is also done. Next one, we will create here components. Now let's go here and then Control C, we will break the server, and nggc means generate component. Now let's see the name of the folder. So first we will create this component from here. After this we will create another one. We will create actually 3 components. This one, user list to display the list, and next one will be for updating. Here this one is also created. Now for updating, user update. That's it. Yes, it's done now. So all the components now we have created, and we will start writing the code. Okay, now let's start the server again. Let's start the server here. So server is now started. Let's close it, and then the next task, let's close this one also. The next task that we need to do is let's start from user list, because first we will show the data here. So inside user list we will here implements ng on init. Okay, after this let's create here model, means we are creating here an object of our model, that is users. This is a blank array. We will fill the data later. After this we will have to write constructor. Inside constructor, as a dependency injection, we will be calling service. So in our case the service file is this, and we have to call the router as well. Still it's showing error because we will have to write this function below. It says that we will have to implement it later. And then to display the list we will have to write this function. So basically now the error is gone, because ng on init, this one we are implementing. This is an interface actually. That's why we are writing here implement. So inside this interface, this is the function which we must inherit. Function body we have to write. Now get users, actually we are calling on load. It's like, you know, on body load, this one. And get users, we are calling here this dot service dot get users. This get users is inside service, and then subscribe, the data is coming here. And finally, this one is for checking purpose whether the data is coming or not. After this, we will have to write our HTML code to display the data. So let's go here, let's remove, and then we will put the code. So inside the user list, these are the fields which we require. What are these? It's very clear: first name, last name, email, and image. So this users of user, that what is this users? If you go here, this is our users, this one. So we are calling here in this HTML, and for of ng4 through ng4 we will be looping this id, first name, last name, email, or we are calling this one is for image, and this is our server path, and this one edit user and delete user. Definitely it will show error because these two functions we have not created yet, so we will have to create these two functions here as well. So let's add these two functions. What are these? Delete user, then id we are passing. So based on id, we will pass the id here and subscribe, and this dot get users means after deleting, once again load all the users, and edit users is to pass the data, and it will redirect to edit page. So that's it. Now we will have to work on a routing here, app.routes.ts file. And now let's write here all the path. So what we are doing, routes, then we are calling here users pool, and then user list that we have just created, let's call it, and then this one is user create component. Alright, so this is not available, it says, and we have to call user update, and then user, okay, the name can be different, and also let's import all the dependencies. Alright, so all the dependency has been imported. Why this one is not showing here? Because let me check, inside user list, user create here, okay, the name is user create, that's why. So we have to name it same, and now it can be easily called here. And then this app from app, this app file we are calling this app.ts. So guys, that's it. What we are doing, actually we are writing here all the route, the component are in this side, and this is corresponding URLs, and finally we are binding this to all the components. This means app component, inside app component. Now let's go to app.ts file, not ts, actually index file, app. Yeah, here what we will do, we will delete everything from here, and just we will have router link, that's it. This is our main app file. Now let's run and test the application, what it shows. It's showing here blank. So now why it's showing blank? Because we have to call two things. First we need to import, and this provider means user service, also the service we will have to call here, and these are dependencies which we need to be called. Router module, okay, actually router we need to call here, no? That's why. So now let's see what happens. So now guys, you can see successfully our data is coming just like I demonstrated you before. So here you can see all the names etc are coming. Let me show you that what happens. Actually we can remove this one, it says it's deprecated. Let's see if we remove this. Okay, we'll have to keep this, or else let's try to add one code here, HTTP client, this one, provided HTTP client. Okay, in app.config.ts. Now let's try. Yeah, so now it's done. Actually, in previous version there was an option to call HTTP client module, but now in the newer version in Angular 20 we can write here in app.config at once. This module, that's it. So no need to call anywhere this. So the main point is router module and services we need to call. And then what we are doing here, we are creating an object of this model, and through dependency injection we are passing here, we are calling this function here, this function, and this function is actually connecting to our service file. Let's close it. Okay, it's connecting. This function is actually written here in our service file. We are fetching the data from there and storing here, and finally this data is being sent to HTML file. Similarly, delete and edit user we will do. Delete can be checked here at this point of time only. For example, Tony, if you delete, it got deleted successfully. So delete code is already working. The next task will be to work on add. For the time being, you can see it is showing user creates because our code is blank here. You can see user create. Currently this code is totally blank, that is why. So now let's work on adding the data. So we have to initialize the form. So we will write here this form group. Okay, this form group, form builder we will have to call, because we are going to use here reactive form modules, that's why. Now let's import the dependency and this form builder also, and user service that we have already created, we have to call this one also, and finally the router. Remember, all these things are written inside here, and also this one is validator, means we can do some validation before inserting. So what we are doing actually, this user form, this dot, all these are these things we are writing inside constructor, and then here inside this we are creating user form instance where fb.group, then first name is required, last name required, this one is required, and validators.email means @ must be given, password will be required, image is not, means this one is not mandatory. Now next task will be to write the code for inserting. This one is for all selected file, means when we will select the file, then this code it will take from here and it will store the file name here. Okay, and this dot user form dot patch, this one is for updating this image. So in short you can say we will get image name from here, and finally we will write code for submitting. This is create user, means this is a function for submitting. It will get here in form instance whether it's valid or not. We are creating a blank form data, and finally all the fields, first name, last name, we are appending. After this we have to append image also, and then once everything is done, then create function which is inside service file. There all the data, this as a form data, as a block, as a group, it will send, and finally it will be redirected to the view file. After this we need to write here the create function, means we will have to write HTML code, and the HTML code is not very complex, it's straightforward. What we are doing here, we are creating object of this form group. This is instance of this form group, same user form. If you go to here inside this in our TS file user form, we created an instance of this form group as user form. Same thing we are doing here. You can see this form group, we are creating an instance, and this is a function. ng submit is a function. After clicking, what will happen, this function will be called, and this function is written here. This create user will be called, that means it will be submitted. Now next here input type text, first name, and then form control name. because we are basically using here form builder and form group, that's why. So we will writing here, and not only that, in imports we will have to import here forms module, and then another one is this one, common module and router module. These two we need to import. Apart from that, we need to providers here, and then what is our user service, no? This is our service name. So that's it. Now let's come back here. So this is form control, and then first name, last name, whatever we are putting here, all the fields here. And for image we have to write here input type file, and then our name is, and on change this on select file. So basically on change means this is a function, then this function will be called here. So now if you go here, then you can see we have already written here this function. So if you console this, okay, let's first run this, then we will talk about this later. Alright, now if you click on add user, then it's going blank. Why? Let's check in the console. In the console it is saying no provider for injection. We have written here forms module, common module, router module, user service is also there. Now we need to actually call this reactive forms module, because if you're using this forms groups and form builder, then this one needs to be imported. So now let's go here. Imports must be array of components directive ng module. Create user line number 8. Here router module is fine. Okay, this one is not required actually. So forms module, common module, and reactive form module. These three are required. Okay, so now our form is ready. So we will write here okay. So now you can see successfully the data is being added. So basically what we have done, you have to import forms module, common module, and reactive forms module, these three, and in provider, for provider you have to import this one. Okay, and then you have to pass all these things in constructor, forms module, user service, and router. And here you will have to create the instance of forms group where we can put validation also. And this one is for selecting the image. When you select the image name is taken here. If the file name is fine, then what happens actually, inside the form it patch, means image name is attached there, and finally the value of image name is fetched from here. And now while sending the data, what we do, this is one group, means text file, and this is one group, image. So what we do, we attach both of these together, and finally we send to the service file, and it goes to the backend. And now our last part, and that is edit is remaining. So let's do that one. Currently it's showing user update. Inside edit form, the HTML will be exactly same. Just we need to copy this and inside our update HTML we will just put it. Only the function name can be different here. Create or update user, you can name it as update user. That's it. Rest of the things will be same. The changes will be inside our, let's close it. The changes will be inside our TS file. That means here. So whatever we have done inside our create user.ts, like service, and these will be also imported in our user update also. And this forms modules. Let's install all dependencies. Okay, the imports is already there, that's why. Let's delete it. Now we will write the code same way, the way we have written the code in the insert file. So here you will see few things. Once again, this forms groups we need to import form group, and this ID, user ID, at the time of editing you need ID, that's why we are passing here user ID. Then forms builder, once again you will have to call, and this one is used to fetch the URL ID, this activated route, this one. And this validator and all these things are same. You can see first name, last name, email, it will be required email, and password, all that, just like insert file. The main thing will be here, we will create a function called update user. But before that you need to load the data, because before editing user will see that what already data is. So what we are doing, we are fetching the ID from URL. This ID we will be fetching this. To fetch this ID we need this. So we are storing here user ID. Now it is saying if user ID is there, then it will fetch single user from service file and it will patch to the form. Means automatically it will check the form name and the data will attach with that. You don't have to write like in HTML PHP. Normally we write dot value, so something like this. And once again, now the next thing usually update. Now this one will be for select file, means image upload, just like we had done in means insert and update will be almost same. Only thing in update this will be different to fetching the data. And now finally the update, this one is for update user. That's it. If you compare with insert and update, it is exactly same. All the things are same. The only difference is this one, because what we'll have to do now, you see the data is fetched here now. First you will have to fill the data, and after that user will submit and it will get updated. Actually it will be not add new user, update user, it will be the heading. Okay, so that is HTML, no problem. So you are seeing here, this is add new user, basically this is update. So let's try to update. upload a new image here this time. So I'm taking this ID haircut. Okay, the data is successfully updated. So guys, you have seen how we can add here, we can edit here, and we can delete the data. So all the things is completed. In the backend we have used Flask, REST API, and in the front end Angular. Let's recap it what we have done. We have first created model from here, then service file, all the service functions we have written here: get users, create users, get by ID, then update and delete. And then according to that, the API is hitting to the server endpoint, and according to that, data is being fetched and same is being called here. This one is for creating the form group, and finally this one is for loading the form, and this one is for selecting the file, selecting image and attaching both text and image. We are sending the whole data to the server, and it is going to the server and uploading the image as well. So you can see now there is one thing remaining. In our previous example you had seen there was header here, na? So you can put header also, bootstrap header. So we will write here bootstrap navbar. You can find here different navbar here. This is one of the navbar, second one is this one. So let's take any one of these. Now you will have to put this navbar into app.html here before this, so that it will be available in all the pages. Now you go and you can check this is the menu. Inside this menu you can add here, like this add list, and also you can, so better let's do put it inside a div, and here inside this write a container class container fluid, and in this one will be class container. That's it, guys. You can see class 2 class actually already there is class, no? That's we can attach this class here. Let's remove this. So now it's fine. So this way guys you can do complete insert, update and delete